Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wow, it's really amazing to look out here. A whole Acumatica team has been working for the last 6 months to get ready for this event, and it's finally here. And it's so cool to see all of you out there in the room filled. You know, this is by far the biggest audience we've ever had for an Acumatica event. Right around 600 people out here. Got some standing room in the back, so maybe even more. You know, we had some people flying in last minute, and we're happy to try and accommodate whatever we can to help our partners be successful. So welcome to Orlando. I had a great time last night. We were out in the reception area here as we did the welcome reception, and we've really got a dynamite next 2 days set up for you guys. You know, we've got keynotes. We're going to show you a lot of cool technology, some that you're going to be able to walk away from today and put right into action. Some of it you're going to get over the next year, let's say. We've got some cool announcements going on. And then, of course, the last 2 days we've got training. And you know, this is a place where it, again, is by far the biggest training sessions that Acumatica has ever done. So we're running 13 tracks of training. Some of them sold out quite quickly, so we doubled them up. And you know, you can see, you can feel, you can sense the momentum going on here, and it's super, super fun for me and all of the team to be part of this. And so let me start off just by saying a big thank you for being here. All right, so that's kind of where we are now. And the other thing that's kind of fun to do is, you know, reflect back on where we've come from. So I dug out this picture from the Acumatica Summit 2011. Okay, I counted the people. There are 36 people in that room. 36. Okay, so pretty good growth. That's right, Patricia Bennett's up there. I saw, so you're in the picture. Yes. So there, you know, and obviously there are a few people in the room in the picture, and that's actually a good thing. But you know, you look around, look at that, and then look around and see how far that we've come. You know, even if you just look back at the last year and a half or so, you know, we go back to Denver, you know, where more than 2x Denver, more than 3x where we were in Long Beach. The sponsor booths and such are almost 4x. So you really get a sense of kind of the growth that's going on in the ecosystem, and it's really exciting because that's what Acumatica is all about. I mean, this room is the Acumatica community, and we have to hope that, you know, NetSuite doesn't try and target us. So why are we here? Okay, so we're here today. We're going to spend the first part of the day looking back at 2015. We had a great year in 2015, and I want to make sure we sort of stop for a moment and we smell the roses, because sometimes we're going so fast we don't do that. We celebrate a little bit. Of course, we've got tonight's celebration, and that's going to be super fun. I'll be out there with you guys, and we can grab a beer together. There's going to be a fun band. And then we're going to shift gears, and we're going to start looking forward. And we're going to look forward at what are we going to do together here in 2016. And even beyond. And you know, as we think about the summit, you know, we shifted the summit to be more at the beginning of the year here for a reason, and that's because this is our fiscal year kickoff, and for most of you, this is your fiscal year kickoff too. And getting that alignment at the beginning of the year, getting the programs in place, being able to come out of the gate strong. You know, that's why we've done that, and so it's great to see all of that in action. So who's here? So for the first time ever, we've invited some customers to come and join us here at the Acumatica Summit. And so we've got about 60 plus, maybe 10% of the audience is customers. And that's exciting, and we had some discussion about, you know, what was the right way to do that and make sure customers had a good experience and partners had a good experience. But as we start to get bigger companies using Acumatica, we're finding that they frequently have their own IT teams, and they don't want to do the setup, they don't want to set up the books, they don't want to set up the accounting system, but they want to be able to do their own reporting, or they want to be able to do their own integration. They want to understand what's going on in the ISV ecosystem. And so that's why customers are here. Then beyond the customers, we've got our usual groups of VARs, OEMs. We've got some OEM partners here, some of them from a long way away. And then, of course, we've got the ISVs, many of whom are sponsors. So again, thank you to all of our sponsors. We're super excited because they do help us make this all happen. And particularly excited to be able to have Amazon, Amazon I'll talk a little bit more about later, and Microsoft as sponsors of the Acumatica Summit. I think that's kind of, again, a statement of where Acumatica is in its growth at this point. And then the last group that's here, it's an important group, is Acumatica employees. And so I've flown in more Acumatica employees by almost 3x than we've ever had at one of these events. So we've got all the top developers here, we've got all the top support people here, we've got all the top sales and marketing people here. And so if you can't find the person who can answer whatever question you got on Acumatica here in Orlando, I don't know what we're going to do. But I'm sure we'll figure it out. So, and if you're having trouble, most of the people will be wearing an Acumatica shirt. So either the blue polos or we've got some white long sleeves that have Acumatica on it. But come find me. I'll be floating around, and please come say hi and tell me how your business is doing. So when we last left off in Orlando, we had this slide on the screen. Excuse me, not Orlando, in Long Beach. We'll go back a year. When we last left off in Long Beach, and it was the goal for 2015. The goal was 2x for 15. That was our kind of trendy way of saying, let's go double our business in 2015. And so how do we do? How do we do out there, folks? The answer is, stunningly, it was almost like I was clairvoyant, we did it. And I mean, it was exactly, within a tenth of a decimal on it. So yeah, someone started to clap, so that's okay. I mean, it really was wild. We were watching through Q3, we were up at like 103%, 104%. Then going into Q4, it dropped down to 98%. And then we had a super strong close right in the last 3 days of December. And deals came in, and when we tallied it all up, the growth was exactly 100%, which it really is kind of stunning. I mean, we didn't make that up. It's what happened. I will tell you how it is. Now, beyond that, numbers that in some ways get me even more excited are how do we do on SaaS? Okay? How are we doing on cloud subscription? Because since I started here, we've been talking about cloud and all of the benefits of the cloud and making sure that our partners understand how to sell the cloud and really have successfully transitioned to that cloud dynamic. And so the fact that we saw 134% growth on our SaaS sales is spectacular. So very happy on that. Yeah, it's good. And then right behind that, 98% growth. It's not 98% is subscription, but 98% growth on subscription. So that means it's both what we've got for our private cloud subscription and our public cloud subscription. Again, very strong growth. But the fact that SaaS growth is higher, that again shows that shift to the public cloud. And then the last piece, which again further accentuates this point, perpetual licenses, -9%. And it's sort of funny to put up a negative number, but this is actually a good thing too, because we are all about building subscription businesses, subscription annuity bases, and we're doing that. And so I'm happy to see that as well. So you put all that growth together, and this is a slide we've showed for the last 3 summits, and where does that leave us in the competitive stack rank out there? Last week was a big week for public companies reporting, and so we had Sage reporting. Sage still in mid-single digits. Apparently did quite well in Europe. So we're not really big in Europe yet, so watch out, Sage. We're coming there. But Microsoft announced that they were in single digits, mainly driven by their CRM business. So you can take what you want for their ERP business there. Our friend Mr. Scott down here in the front row keeps us well informed on these things. And NetSuite, announced 33% growth. And NetSuite's quite a bit bigger than us, so we need to be respectful of that and say, good job. NetSuite's, they're running hard and they're executing well. But you look at our growth there, 100% or 3x what NetSuite put up, and I really am very, very proud of how we've done. So, still the fastest growing ERP in 2015. So along with that growth comes some expansion for Acumatica itself. We outgrew our Moscow office, so we've expanded office space there. We are also literally this weekend moving offices in the Seattle area. For any of you who've been up to the Seattle area, our office has been in Kirkland, Washington, and we've outgrown that. And so we made what seemed like a good decision at the time. We'll move over the summit weekend. Okay, and so of course, what did that mean? We're flying here on Friday, so what were we doing on Thursday? We were packing. And what else were we trying to do on Thursday? Get all the demos to work, right? So anyway, so Thursday was fun. But what it does mean is we're going to get home, and we're going to be back home in our new digs, which is a place in Bellevue, Washington, so about 2 miles south. And so open invitation, please. If any of you are near any of our offices, I'm showing you the map here. We've got the office in Bellevue. We've got our Level 2 Support Center in Columbus, Ohio. We've got the office in Virginia. I'm going to talk more about Canada in a moment, but we've got some exciting things going on in Canada. We've opened a number of offices across the Southeast Asia area. And if you're out there, go visit there too. So then beyond the offices, though, the Acumatica footprint is actually expanded even further. And that's because we've got partners that are selling in places that we don't have offices. And last year I talked about what was my favorite partner. You're all my favorite partner, okay? So you know that, right? But no, really my favorite partner, maybe at overcoming diversity is probably the right way to couch this, is this guy in Egypt. And he basically, we don't do training in Egypt. The guy has never traveled to the United States. He taught himself Acumatica over the internet and has done 3 deals in Egypt in what is probably the most screwed up economy in the world. It's a fantastic story. So anyway, this year my favorite story is one of our partners licensed the University of Namibia. Namibia is a very poor country in Africa, and they are now running Acumatica. So they're live, the University of Namibia is live on Acumatica. And what's cool about this is you look at emerging markets, and as they're trying to catch up, the ability to run to a cloud infrastructure and mobile, cloud and mobile together, is a way for some of these emerging markets to really accelerate and get on to technology that's going to help them grow and self-sustain. And so, when I look at the deals, we had an amazing set of great deals this year. That's one of the ones I'm really excited about. All right, so onto VARs, which we got a lot in the room here. In 2015, 60 new VARs joined the Acumatica ecosystem. And so a big thank you to all of them. And we're now at a point where we don't need hundreds and hundreds more VARs. I actually am very happy with the VAR base that we've got. There are a few specific geographies where I think we need to target for some more coverage. Although we did sign our first partner in Alaska this year. And yep, well, there we go. Apparently this thing up here. And we've got a partner in Hawaii. So those are 2 that I have to go visit. We'll go to Alaska when we can. Well, I guess Alaska is supposed to go in the summer and Hawaii in the winter, but I'd probably go the other way. I like to ski. And then, so beyond some geographies, some specific verticals. I continue to encourage partners whenever I meet with them to make sure you're thinking about what is your vertical niche. What is the IP that you're thinking about creating? What's that space you're carving out for yourself? Because that's how you can define yourself, you can differentiate. And there's clearly some verticals out there that are not yet covered by Acumatica. And we're going to show you one really cool one later on this morning. So those 60 joined the Acumatica ecosystem, and when you put all the partners together, we've got the room, you can look around in the room, but this is what they look like when you put them on the Acu conveyor belt slide, which I thought was pretty cool. The person who built this, yeah, and so you see, we'll let it run for a minute so people can see themselves, but it's pretty cool. And then on the ISV side, also some strong growth. And 30 new ISVs in the last year. And what I can tell you is the situation with ISVs right now is very different than where it was when I started 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I literally was on the phone myself calling some of these guys, but hoping that they knew me and hoping they would take the call. And we're calling up and saying, hey, we want you to come port your product to Acumatica, build an integration. Sometimes I would get Acu who, and we'd be like, no, we're this cool cloud accounting thing in Seattle. In the last 6 months, it's completely turned around, and they're calling us. We've got a whole bunch more. They're in the pipe working on integrations. And when you take the ones that joined this year, and we put them on the wheel of functionality here. This is a very good way to look at it. You see the ISV is cut by the functional area or by vertical area, and you really see how it's filled out. And many of them are here, and I encourage you to get out and spend time with them at the breaks. This is the secret. This is the secret on how you take Acumatica and you build out a bespoke or custom solution for that mid-market account, and you do it in a very cost-effective way. All right, and so this is why the ISV ecosystem is a very important part of the Acumatica story as well. Now, we got some other partners. I mentioned them earlier. We're very excited that they're here at the summit as sponsors. These two little software companies up in Seattle near us, Microsoft and Amazon. And we have the benefit of sitting literally right in the middle of them. So 10 miles to the west of us is Amazon, and 10 miles to the east of us is Microsoft. And I try really hard to make sure that not just myself, but the team is spending time on both companies' campuses, because there's a lot to learn by doing that, and we're making sure we're plugging in wherever it makes sense. And so, if we look at what we did in the last year, I was lucky enough to have lunch with Satya back last January, and I went in with, here's what we're doing in Acumatica, and here's some of the things we're thinking about doing. We talked about a new data interface standard that was just starting to emerge called OData. And I could see, I mentioned it, his eyes lit up, he got all excited, and he goes, John, I can't tell you exactly what we're doing, but that's a good one. And so I went back to my dev team and said, we were talking about that OData thing? Well, we're going to accelerate that. And so we jammed on it, and in 3 weeks we had it in beta. And at the summit in Long Beach, the 5.0 summit, we were able to preview an OData interface with something that Microsoft had just announced, which was their new Power BI cloud data and analytics platform. And so we were there like right at the beginning of that. We caught that wave early, and it was super exciting. And the feedback from the partners, the Acumatica, at that Acumatica summit was amazing. From there, because we were there early, Microsoft invited us to come down to their Build conference, which was 6,000 developers, so 10 times this room, and a techie audience. And Acumatica being .NET, and one of its real strengths is its platform and its programmability. It's a great thing to get up in front of 6,000 developers. And so they demonstrated Acumatica in front of 6,000 developers, and we showed the OData interface, and we showed a bit more of the programmability framework. And then from there, we did this thing called a content pack. And a content pack is the Microsoft, and I can poke fun at Microsoft because I used to work there. They're not the best company at naming things. You guys remember things like, Windows Server R4, Release 4, and things like that. That was a major release of Windows Server 2008 or something. So a content pack is really the way that you deliver a set of functionality, a set of views for a data source into Power BI. And Microsoft has a website that you can get at right from inside the Power BI tool. And so we released a content pack, and that's a picture of me in July down at WPC. Well, it wasn't down at WPC, it was here. We were in Orlando, and that's me and James Phillips, who's the vice president on the Power BI team, demonstrating Acumatica. So we got to do a lot of fun things there. This is what the content pack, if you go into Power BI, what it looks like. And one of the nice value adds you get of having a company that starts with the letter A is that you show up first in all these things. And so there we are. We got some nice positioning there in that Power BI tool. And we're in no way done with Microsoft. You guys know about our Office 365 integration. You know we do Azure for single sign-on. But we've got several other things that we're going to talk about tomorrow that we're doing with them. Then on the other side of Lake Washington is Amazon. And as most of you know, we made the decision when I started, it was done the first 2 weeks of my tenure here, to centralize all of our cloud into AWS. And at the time, it felt like a little bit of a brave and risky decision, but looking back on it, it was one of the best decisions we've made since I've been here. Absolutely, no-brainer. I'll talk a little bit more about the performance, but the connection that we're getting with Amazon has been great. And by getting everything together, we got on their radar. I was at a dinner that Andy Jassy was at, and he came over and saw my badge, and he's like, "Oh, Acumatica, I know who you guys are," and started talking with me. And so we had a great discussion. He goes, "Yeah, I know you guys did this well, you just got put into our top-level partner program, which is the Advanced Technology Partner, and we did this thing called an Amazon test drive with them, which they only do for their top partners. And so there are 26 companies that have an AWS test drive. And if you ever want to have some fun with, if you're out talking to a customer, you can Google AWS test drive, and you get this website. And what you see is, Acumatica up there with Microsoft and Oracle and Adobe and SAP and some other small companies. And so we show up well with these guys, and so that's a pretty cool thing. But then the team dug in even further, and what we did was we worked out how to do something that we released in Q4. And if you all don't know about this and you're all not using it, you should be thinking about it, which is we've got this new 14-day trial test drive, and we are literally the only guys who've done this. We figured out how to do this with Amazon, and they've been so excited to work with us. I'm sure other companies are going to follow our lead, but right now we're the only ones who have this. And so what this is a way for you to get a 2-week, 14-day provision instance of Acumatica that you can use for proof of concepts. Is probably the best place to use it. You could use it if you're trying to do something like if you're trying to do something like test a new feature or something like that, but I'd probably tell you to go to a sandbox for something like that. So this is probably the best thing to be using for pilots or proof of concepts. And so that's out there today. Now, I mentioned that we're doing a lot of things with them, sitting around on their campus with them. Amazon released a new relational database service, or RDS, called Project Aurora last year. And this is a MySQL-compatible RDS. But it's very, very high performing. It's 5x performance of a normal, if you just run MySQL on one of their servers. And so today I'm announcing that we are ready to support the Amazon Aurora RDS. Now, what that really means is that's an exciting announcement for some of our ISVs and some of our OEMs that are building more of packages around Acumatica. It's nice, and it shows off the value of having these open industry standards that we support really across the whole product. That's what enabled us to go and pick up the support of this RDS service very easily. And I mentioned the benefit that we've gotten out of being in the Amazon cloud, but this is really spectacular. We looked at our aggregate uptime across all customers running in the Amazon cloud for the last year, 99.98%. 99.98%. Yeah, we can clap on that, because when you're out talking to customers about should they be in the cloud or should they not, the chances of a customer being able to hit 99.98% on servers they're running themselves is almost nil. It really is. And then beyond that, what you need to make sure you're talking to them about is Amazon's data centers are geo-redundant. So this is a map of where they've got data centers. And every instance of Acumatica running in the Amazon cloud is being run redundantly, is being mirrored in one of these other data centers in another high availability zone. And so you've got, you've got built-in multi-zone redundancy, disaster recovery. But it can go even further than that. And in fact, we are releasing some new high availability options on our pricing list where we can get customers who've gone down because of something like an earthquake. If a whole zone goes out, we can get customers back up in minutes with these new high availability offerings that we're bringing to the table with Amazon. And so for customers, that's an important thing to be thinking about. That option is now there and will be on the price list. All right, shifting gears now. Talk a little bit about our OEM partnerships. We signed a new OEM partnership back in October with a large Canadian software company called Aceo. And we're very excited about it. Another great partner here in North America. Aceo is based in Montreal, so they cover the Quebec region from a horizontal ERP perspective. But they are national and actually international in terms of vertical workloads. And so they're taking Acumatica into workloads like hardware stores. They have a line of daycare software. They have a line of municipal government software. And so what's neat about all these vertical expansions that are happening is at the core, the product is still Acumatica. And so if it's in a space where you guys have expertise, like maybe one of you knows a bit about court management systems, then it gives you an opportunity to grab onto something where there's a product you know and a vertical you know, and go and partner with that OEM as well. Okay? And so Aceo joins our other large multinational OEMs, Visma, which is the largest software company in the Nordics, and MYOB, which is the largest accounting software company in Australia and New Zealand. And very important partnerships for us for several reasons. Number one, these guys, they validate our platform. The fact that we have customers and partners of this scale basing their offerings on top of Acumatica, it really does validate the platform. Number two, these are long-term financial agreements. So they give the company very strong financial foundation, which is really a good thing. It means that we can make long-term bets. Number three, these partners, they have thousands and thousands and thousands of customers. Okay? MYOB has actually 1.2 million customers in Australia and New Zealand. So the opportunity it opens up for real amazing scale with the Acumatica code base is substantial. And then the last thing is for ISVs. It gives ISVs the opportunity to plug into these other offerings because most of the ISV products work out of the box with these other implementations. And so, we've had a bunch of them go down and work in Australia with MYOB. And so what that does is it opens up more surface area for ISVs to go and sell their products. And we want the ISVs to be successful because they're part of the ecosystem too. We want all boats will float higher. And then down at the bottom it says more coming soon. We've got a couple other big deals in the hopper that you'll hear about in 2016. Now, one of the things you guys told me in the first 2 weeks I was at Acumatica, what I did was I packed a bag and I just went on the road. And I went out and visited all our top partners and all our top customers and took feedback and said, what are we doing well and what are we not doing well? And one of the pieces of feedback you gave me was, you guys need to work more with the analysts. You guys need to do more work with them. We're not getting coverage, and we really want to see that because our customers are reading this stuff. So we went back. We've increased the Acumatica people working in that space and the focus in that space. And what this slide just shows is the increase of coverage that we saw in 2015. You know, you see increase of coverage across Gartner, across IDC, across Forrester, but we're working with the whole analyst community here. And you know, what we found is in the ERP space, there are some more boutique analysts that really go very deep into ERP, into biz apps, and into the SMB market. They really understand your customers very well, which is important, right? That's what we're really after, is the insight on what's value add for our own customers. And so we'll continue doing work there. So, stop, take a breath, be zen for a moment. That's kind of the sum of where we are right now, coming off of 2015. You know, 134% growth on SaaS, 100% growth overall. We did the Long Beach Summit, which was amazing. We did OData with Microsoft. We did the Aseo deal. We've opened some offices up, and a whole bunch more stuff. You know, I've had a great time traveling around and getting to know you and getting to work with you on deals. And you know, this truly is feeling like an Acumatica family. So great 2015, and let's give ourselves all a big hand. And so what comes off of all this great growth? Well, what we all love is lots and lots of happy customers. So let's roll the video, please.
The biggest impact for Acumatica on Postcard Mania growing, from my viewpoint, is we're going to be able to grow our business 25 to 30% without changing any of our staffing needs.
Avec la croissance rapide qu'on a vécue, l'innovation technologique, mais aussi les acquisitions qu'on est allé chercher dans le marché, nos systèmes comptables étaient à un point de saturation qui, en fait, nous empêchait d'aller plus loin dans notre progression. Pour nous, en fait, d'avoir notre logiciel ERP qui est intégré avec nos technologies, donc nos systèmes de capteurs de pression, nos systèmes de 3D, nos systèmes cliniques et notre calendrier intégré, ça te permet d'aller plus loin, plus vite et plus efficacement.
Acumatica has allowed us to have a democratic access to the information, has given us accountability. At the end of the day, the information at the tip of your fingers.
So by switching to Acumatica, rather than having one person handle all of our AR through an Excel spreadsheet, we were able to have one person handle all of our AR and our AP and use that extra person, that extra role, in a more effective way.
Acumatica is going to be a very important part of our business moving forward. We see this as a tool that's also a way to communicate with our customers and to bring the information closer to the customers. I think this is going to have a paradigm shift in how we do interact and how we can bring value directly to the marketplace.
Having 3 diverse companies in 3 different industries speaks alone that we can do the accounting for a race team, an environmental cleanup company, and a software company, all in the same solution. Everything from contract management to project tracking. It's so easy to know that Acumatica is the right choice.
You can log from the system from anywhere and from any device. I personally recently were in the middle of a Senate hearing process, and someone in the company just called me, needed this immediate approval from something. I just logged in from my smartphone, approved the requisition, and just the process went on, and I continued on my hearing. It was something that really made me believe this is technology from the 21st century.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love that the hotel we're at is running Acumatica in the spa. that was not something we planned. And Doug Johnson was making a joke about, it almost doesn't matter which hotel we go to. Of course, they're running Acumatica. So someday. But we are doing very well on customer ads. And in fact, what I'd like to share with you is our next big announcement for the morning is as we look back at the number of customers that we added since our last big announcement. We hit our 2,000th customer. So sometime in December, we're not exactly sure what the date was, but sometime back in December in Q4, we sold our 2,000th instance of Acumatica. And so if you remember back in Denver in 2014, in August 2014, that was when we announced we sold our 1,000th customer. And so this is another big milestone for the company in growth, and we're now at 2,000. So thanks to everybody for that. So we took the customers. And similar to what we did with the VARs, we put them on the conveyor belt. And it's pretty exciting. There really are, this isn't 2,000 of them. We grabbed as many logos as we could. But it really does give you a sense of what's going on in the marketplace and how many customers we've got going out there. And lots and lots and lots of customers. And so as we have customers here at the event, one of the things we want to do is actually celebrate the customer a little bit. And so we're going to give the first annual award for a customer Acumatica implementation. And that award is going to go to SealTech and Guardian. And I'd like to invite the CIO. Come on up, Francisco. We got music. All right, man. Hey, congratulations. All right, here's your award. We'll take a picture. All right, so Francisco's going to be around the next couple of days. Feel free to pick his brain, but they've got a big Acumatica implementation, several hundred users going on, and lots of ISV integrations, and they've done lots of their own work on top of it. So,
well, thank you.
All right, Francisco, thank you for joining us. Okay, so now we're going to start shifting to looking forward a little bit. I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the keynote tomorrow, but we're at a very interesting and I think very important and very exciting point in time here, which is now, okay? And now in the business app space. And this graph here, what it shows is it shows a graph of what's happened with adoption by various business workloads in the cloud over the last few years, okay? And again, I'll talk more about this tomorrow, but where we are right now is we've got CRM is basically 100% in the cloud at this point. The HR system, HR is about 60s. It's up in the 60s somewhere in terms of running in the cloud. But the really interesting point is that ERP is only at about 10% right now. We actually believe it's 9%. So of the roughly million mid-market customers in North America, only 9% of them are running ERP in the cloud today. And it makes sense. It makes sense that this would be the workload that goes last. Most of the other workloads, they are not the workload that, if CRM stops, yeah, it's difficult. Your sales team can't function maybe, but it doesn't stop the company running. If your HR system stops, yeah, it could be difficult, but it probably doesn't stop you, unless you're doing payroll, it probably doesn't stop you from running the company. ERP stops, the company stops. And so it makes sense that this is the last workload to go. But customers are building confidence in the cloud, and we really believe that this is about to really take off. And so what do you need to do that? You need a great product. All of the success that we're having is grounded in great product. And if we look at the releases from the last year, we had 5.0, which was a big, big step forward that we released at the beginning of last year. And then we did some dot releases with 5.1, 5.2. And we've been learning from those and working, testing, tuning, getting better. And I'm very excited to be able to announce this morning the release of Acumatica 5.3. So, yep, we can clap for that. So, you're going to hear more about this as the day goes on, but it's a super high-performing release of Acumatica. As I said, extremely well tested. You know, the feedback from the partners has been quality. Quality, quality, quality. Focus on quality. And so we've really made that the focus of the dev team as we've thought about this release. And I think you're going to find it to be super rock solid. And so what I'd like to do, does anyone want to take a look? Anyone want to take a look at some demos? All right, so let's go ahead and invite our demo master extraordinaire, Gabriel Michaud. Gabriel, hey, come on up. Hey, man. All right.
Thanks, John.
Great to have you here. So go ahead, you take it away. Show them some 5.3.
Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today with you to show you what's new in 5.3. But you know, it's been a year since we last saw each other in Long Beach. And I thought it would be a good idea to start by reviewing everything that we did in the past year. 5.1, released in April, included features like OData and Power BI, which John mentioned this morning. We also had some goodies like FedEx SmartPost, UPS SurePost integration. In August, we introduced Acumatica 5.2, again with a solid set of features, a lot of new enhancements. Things like relative date filters, which allow you to create predefined filters, for example, that can show you the list of order or sales that came in the past week. Another nice feature in 5.2 is the online currency rate refresh. If you have employees traveling in multiple countries, entering expense claims in Acumatica, you'll find this feature very convenient. In a single click or through a schedule, you can get up-to-date refresh rates in any currency in the world. Over the past year, that's over 50 new features that were delivered. And today, I'd like to show you what we've been doing in the past few months with Acumatica 5.3. Let's take a look. The first thing I would like to do today is take a look at mobile. Actually, it's something that we launched at the last summit, but we've come a long way since the release of the mobile app. As you probably all know, Acumatica is built on a platform that allows you to add new features, extend screens, add new fields, change the business logic. We've built the mobile app using the same philosophy. So you, as partners and customers of Acumatica, can add onto this application. Everything is based off simple XML files that can be added and dropped in your site, so you can build new functionality. We think this is a huge business opportunity for ISVs and partners building on mobile. One area I would like to take a look at today with you in mobile is approvals. Sure, it's something that you can do in the browser, but as business owners, as managers, you're constantly on the go. You're traveling, sitting in a cab, waiting to catch a flight, or having lunch with a customer. By using your smartphone, you get a really, really convenient and fast way to do your approvals. So let's take a look. Great, so I'm going to open the Acumatica app, and I'm going to sign in using my fingerprint, Touch ID. Take a look at what we have now in the mobile app. There's so much more. We now have mobile CRM, time cards, sales orders, cash transactions, projects, purchase orders, and requisitions. That's a lot of new features. So let's open approvals. So as you can see, I have 3 documents to approve. The first one is an expense claim. And if you recall, last year when we first showed that, this is exactly what we presented, expense claims. The reason I would like to revisit this feature today is to highlight some of the unique capabilities of your smartphone. It has sensors like GPS. It has a fingerprint reader. It also has a camera. So for expense claims, it's very convenient. If you're having a lunch with a customer, all you have to do is snap a picture of the receipt. And while I'm at it, let's do something fun. I need a big smile, guys. Okay. Let's get back to business. People who were at my breakout session last year on the platform probably remember that my wife texted me and she kept harassing until I replied, and this is what we did. Anyway, it was fun. Okay, let's save this and get back to business. Next document is a sales order. Sales orders are new in the mobile app. You can create new sales orders, so if you're on the go and want to create a quote or enter a sales using the app, you can do that. In my case, it's just a document that I need to approve. So let's take a look. I'm going to go to document details and review the content of this sales order. So I have a product here, and it looks like the price is pretty low. So it's probably why the approval was sent to me rather than some other manager inside the company. So like 20%, that's a pretty steep discount. But that's a good customer, and he's been giving us a lot of business. So I think we should approve it. Let's do it. Click and approve. We're done. And it's gone. Next one is a time card. Again, same thing. Time card, another new feature in 5.3 in the mobile app. You can use it to enter new time cards. If you're working on projects, you can log your time against a project and a project task. So I'm going to review, clicking on details. Again, I see like various entries working on different projects, and everything looks correct. Let's tap, and what should we do? Approve? Approve. And that's it. And I forgot expense claim, so let's approve it as well with the new picture. So mobile app is the quickest and fastest way to do approvals, and it's also improved in version 5.3. One thing I'd like you to remember is that everything I just showed you works just as well on Android. So if you have an Android device, you can get the Acumatica app, and you will see the same set of applets that I have on the Acumatica start screen. It's totally transparent, and when you build new screens and applets for the Acumatica mobile app, it works transparently across both platforms. There's a lot of exciting things that you will see today with Acumatica 5.3, but there's also a lot to be said about how you will feel when using this new version. It's more stable, it's more predictable, and it's also a lot faster than before. How much faster is it? Let's take a look. First of all, we're talking about a 20% overall increase in performance. Everything that you do with the system, whether it's data entry, running an inquiry, or creating a customer, you'll feel the difference. What do you think? Next item is page loads. Acumatica is already very fast, but we've made it lightning quick in 5.3. For page loads, we're talking about a 40% increase in performance. And lastly, we've also made specific improvements in areas like sales order processing, distribution, and inventory. And we really focused and spent a lot of time improving these areas. So shipment processing, we've seen 2x performance improvements, 100% faster. Sales order creation, if you have an e-commerce site taking tons and tons of orders, hundreds, thousands, 200% faster. Amazing, guys. So we have a customer that's processing almost 3,000 orders a day using Acumatica. And how much time do you think they can save using this new version? 2 hours a day. That's huge. Next topic I'd like to discuss is marketing automation. The world is moving toward digital marketing. And what's critical when doing digital marketing is having a tool that can help you automate this process. A tool that can help you get new leads, drive traffic to your website, engage with your customers, with your prospects, with your leads on social media, but also rank those leads. Identify which leads are the best, and which leads you should simply discard because they're not interested. Finally, you also want to nurture those leads. You want to interact with them, and you want to do this like automatically. If you have 5,000 leads in your contact database, I mean, it's impossible for you to send an email and get on the phone and talk to them every day. So you need a tool to help you with this. So we've decided to build an integration with HubSpot. HubSpot is one of the market-leading marketing automation solutions. And I'd like to show you how it works. HDMI, please. So imagine that you're a cloud ERP company. I'm sure some of you are. We're selling great products like Acumatica. So you have a website, and you want to drive traffic to this website. So what can you do? Well, one idea is to create some ebook and have people go to your website and download this ebook to learn more about cloud ERP. So using HubSpot, I've created this simple landing page where my prospects can go, enter their name and email, and receive this ebook. So let's register and try it. Once I hit submit, my personal information will be added to the HubSpot database. It will not be synchronized to Acumatica at this point. Why? Simply because I've decided to only get the interesting prospects in my database. Until this lead has been qualified, I don't want to pollute my Acumatica CRM database with this lead. You know, like people will go there, enter like phony names and fake information. So really, like, it's not interesting at this point. But what's really interesting about HubSpot and marketing automation is that I will be starting to get a lot of insight about this Gabriel who just registered to download my ebook. Once he downloads the ebook, I will have a flag in my system. Once he reads it, something else. If in the next few days he decides to go to my website and check and read more about Acumatica and how great is Cloud ERP, it will also be flagged in my database. And at some point, I will have a pretty solid idea that Gabriel is really interested in Acumatica and that maybe I should take the phone and have a call with him. So once the lead is qualified, it will be synchronized with Acumatica. So let's connect to my Acumatica system and see how it will look like at this point. I'm going to search. If you recall, universal search is something that we introduced last year. Really nice feature. There we are, Gabriel. So the lead is marked as not validated. Somebody needs to take a look and fill in the missing information. It has already been assigned to one of my employees, Maxwell, who will be taking care of this lead until I close it. So Maxwell will go, probably find my phone number, and fill in some other information, whatever. And once I mark this lead as validated inside Acumatica, all the changes that I have made will be synchronized back to HubSpot. So it's a two-way synchronization between both systems. So without getting too technical, I'd like to show you how we built this integration. We've used our integration services system. So it means that you can make changes to the way synchronization happens. Remember I told you that I was not interested in having this lead until it's qualified. It's something that you configure through this screen. If you are in a different industry and need to get more specific information, like the number of employees or the type of business or the certifications or whatever, like you can also add extra fields and get them synchronized using the import and export scenarios that we have in the system. It's something that we built for our own use. We use it internally at Acumatica, and we know you will also like it for your business. Speaking of integrations and APIs, you know Acumatica has a powerful web services API. It's something we had from the ground up. When we first built Acumatica, we worked on this great web services API. We have partners such as PC Bennett, Fusion, that have built great solutions, amazing solutions, I would say, using these web services APIs. Let's show you how you can use these web services today to retrieve an inventory item. Imagine that you're building an e-commerce platform and you need to get inventory and description and quantities. So that's how you would do it today. Who is fast at counting? How many lines of code is that? Is it like 10, 15, 20, 26? Exactly, that's 26 lines. That's a lot of code, right? So I would like to show you how you can do it using the new Web Services API in Acumatica 5.3. Is that it? One line of code. So which one do you prefer, this one or the other one? I'm pretty sure that unless you're paid by the line of code that you write, that you'll prefer using the new Web Services API. But you know, it's great that you can do things faster using the new Web Services API. But there's another very important reason why we built this new API. It is compatibility. Let's consider this very simple example. You're building an integration with TransUnion to retrieve the credit score of your customers. So you're retrieving this information using a web service, and you're then updating the customer terms using our API. What do you think would happen if Acumatica, in the 6.0 version, decided to rename this field Payment Terms, or simply move it to the Billing Settings tab? Boom. Actually, you will not get a blue screen, but the reality is that your integration will be broken. To be fair, it's a very simple change, and it requires a simple recompile. So it's not a big deal. But if you're an ISV, like PC Bennett, like Fusion, or if you're simply a partner supporting customers with multiple versions of Acumatica, that can become a problem, because you need to make multiple versions, and you're always anxious whenever your customer decides to update. You don't really know what's going to happen until you flip the switch. The new Web Services API solves that. And this is why we call it, actually, the new API solves that. And I would like to tell you why we've named it the Contract-Based Web Services API. So the reason is this screen. This screen is actually called Endpoints and not Contract. But Endpoints is where you define the contract between Acumatica and the application that's consuming web services. So these contracts are durable and are guaranteed to work across versions. If you build something against this API, it will work in 5.3.1, in 5.3.2, and it will work in 6.0. So it's not affected by screen change, how simple this change may be. What do you think? So I went kind of geeky here, showed you all this programming API source code. I hope I did not lose you. But anyway, if you're a programmer and you're interested to learn more about this API, I will be doing a breakout session tomorrow. And our CTO, Mike, will also be making some exciting announcements tomorrow during the keynote about this API. You know, there's so much more about 5.3. It would take me hours to go through some of the features that we have. But before I finish, I would like to highlight some of the great things that we've introduced with 5.3. Features like GL reclassification, sales and gross margin reports. Finally, sales reports in Acumatica. I'm sure you've all been waiting for that. Improved bank statements, enhanced customization tools, and so much more. And the best thing, it's available today on the portal. Go get it, guys. Thanks.
All right, Gabrielle, awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Please stick around for a minute. We're going to need you for a couple more things here. So that's 5.3, rock solid solution, ready to go to market with today. But one of the things I want to talk about next is something I've noticed happening as I'm out working with you guys on customer solutions over the last year. And that is increasing complexity off the expectations that mid-market customers now have of what their business solution should be doing for them. It's no longer just about the accounting and maybe connecting with inventory. They want to connect to their e-commerce site, they want to connect to their marketing automation, they want to connect to their CRM, etc. And this is creating a complexity scale issue that we really need to figure out how to address together. It's something that I've seen when I look at some of the implementations that partners are building and see that all these ISV components are coming together, sometimes, honestly, for the first time with that particular implementation. And that's not acceptable. So we've decided to go and attack this problem head on. And we're doing that with an important announcement that I'm making here today, which is the opening of Acumatica Labs in Montreal, Canada. So I mentioned earlier, I was going to say some more about Canada. Yeah? Yeah. And Monsieur Michaud here is going to be the lead on it. He's going to be the general manager of the laboratory up in Montreal. And we've got a team that's already hired. We've been sort of working this, getting ready, but we got a core team already in place. We've got a couple more people that started this week, and we're hiring. So if you guys know anyone who wants to come work with us in Montreal, we've got jobs posted. And this lab's going to play a very important role. It's going to be a connection between customers and partners and engineering, and they're actually going to get into doing deep customizations. And then it's going to be an ISV integration lab. So we're going to take all those ISV products that are out there, and we're going to run them together on a particular stack of Acumatica and really test and test and test and make sure that we've got it really hardened. Because what that means for you VARs is that you should be able to go into a customer situation with confidence that if you have this version of Acumatica and this version of these ISV products, that things are going to all work together very well. And that will make everybody's life easier. Yeah, no, it's a good thing. So as I said, this has been actually something we've been working on for the last few months. Excited to make the announcement here today. But let's take a look at something that Gabrielle and team have been working on with Jazz Systems on the JAMS product. So let's take a look.
Thanks, John. I'm very excited to give you the first glimpse at the JAMS product configurator. We've been working with the Jazz team for a few months now, and I have something great to show you. So before I do my demo, I would like to get you in context. So picture this. Imagine that you're a manufacturer making loading docks. So let's take a look at the dock seal. Every order that you receive is different. Everything is made to order. You can make loading docks of different widths, of different heights. And you can also make loading docks of different performance qualities with different fabrics. They can even be in different colors, like orange. So the product configurator is designed to handle companies like this one. And let's take a look. So if you're already familiar with the JAMS product, you have already seen, I guess, the bill of material, production management, MRP. And product configurator is the new section that we have been working on together with Jazz. I'm going to open the first screen, configuration maintenance. This is where you define your configurable products. So let's take a look at the dock seal. The dock seal has different features. So as I mentioned, the color, so you can pick between black, blue, brown, and green. And I also have different fabrics. So like vinyl, Hercules, Epilon, whatever that is. And as I select the different features and options, the next options available to me will change. So for example, green could only be available in vinyl, and black available in all fabrics. So the system is designed to handle scenarios like this one. And finally, based on the options that you select, the system will calculate the price and the materials that you need to build this dock seal. To do that, the Jazz team built a formula engine inside the product configurator. So what you see here under quantity required is a formula that takes the different attributes like the height and width of my dock seal. So this is the formula engine and the different attributes that are available for this product. This is a simple example, obviously, but it could be much more complex and handle like very advanced configurable products. Now let's go to the sales order entry and show you how you would configure the dock seal for a customer. Which customer should I pick?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
Someone who's
the bartending group. Yeah. Let's pick someone who's got a dock.
Dock, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to select my product. And as you may notice, in the toolbar here, I have a new button, Configure. So let's click on it and see what happens. Great. So on this first tab, I have the different attributes. So let's enter height. So it's a 9 by 10 loading dock. And under the Options tab, I need to select my color and the fabric that I'm going to be using. So let's start with the color. I'll take a black one. Click Add. And then I'll move on to the fabric. So on the left side, you see all the different features. Until I've selected all features, you will see this yellow exclamation mark here. So let's pick the fabric. Click Add. So I'm pretty much done. What I'm going to do now is click Finish. And when I do that, the system will verify that I've selected all the options which are required for the dock seal. So there's no way I can forget something. The system will tell me if I forget to enter the size or to pick a color. And it's also going to calculate the price. So let's see how much this dock seal would cost. $524. Is that a good price?
I don't know. It seems like a fair price to me.
Okay.
I don't buy a lot of dock seals.
Okay. So let's go ahead and create a production order. So we're using the same feature that is there for jams to create productions based on a sales order. Let's select the product and click Create. I'm done. As you can see, I have my production order ready, and the dock seal will be out and shipped to my customer in just a few days.
That's awesome. All right, Gabrielle. Awesome. Another example of what's coming out of there. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day. And there's another ISV that we've been working with, an ISV called M5. And M5 has a field service offering. They do routing, they can do equipment service management, or a general field service management module. And we've been working with these guys also up in the Montreal labs. And we have some things we want to show you from there. And so for that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Doug Johnson. Come on up, Doug.
John, thank you very much.
Good morning.
Thank you. All right, yeah, I do.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Now we're going to get to talk about an actual customer deployment. And part of what this company does is it's called waste collection and remanufacturing. So we're kind of getting down a little bit into the dirt and the grime. So this consists of restaurants. So restaurant owners would have a big pile of grease from the deep fryer. Grocery stores and other places have, products that we don't eat, components of animals that we don't consume. Well, G.A. Windsor & Son takes all of that, goes around and collects it. It's a very localized business in mostly the Ohio region. And they go collect all that on these routes. So every day, they go out and they create about 20 to 30 routes. And each truck drives around and it picks up certain byproducts and other things that need to be recycled. The way they were doing that before Acumatica consisted of a very manual process. So they got a big stack of papers. There were little specific orders that needed to go into each one. And in order to make that happen, you need to collate all that, get it to the right driver, pick the right machine to go make the pickup and do everything else. So it was a very manual process. And then to further complicate things, the accounting system, same old Acumatica story of how we help things, was not integrated with the rest of the system. So they're predicting that they could save a lot of time in terms of making all this happen by just going with one integrated system that automated this route management process. Now, the other thing that happens, as you already suspect on the back end, is they take all the information that they've gotten, all the materials, and they put it into their production process. So once again, it's going to be the M5 system feeding into Acumatica, feeding into the JAMS production system, feeding into the outgoing, what we're going to call trash to treasure area, where you can actually go sell those products. And the products would be things like animal feed, oils, and other high-protein products that they need. So let's go ahead and take a look at, actually see it in action here. Okay, so here's a deployment. So we're going to go ahead and sign in. Their actual, the actual deployment's going to be, we're going to show you bits and pieces of it. So as I already told you, we're going to go ahead, and one of the things they're going to start with, well, let's talk about M5 real quickly. M5 displays this service module. There's a service management piece, which is used if you're going to set appointments and people are going to go do things like electrical work and other things. You add and do that. There's advanced planning, which gives service contracts and scheduling for advanced contracts. And then there's route management. We're going to be mostly in the route management piece today. So we'll start here with this idea of vehicles. They have, as I mentioned, a lot of vehicles. All the vehicles have different capabilities, features. You need to pair each one with what's going to happen with the particular service contract. So we've already showed the trucks. So let's go sign up some customer contracts. You can see my top bullet here. Let me make this a little bigger for the folks in the back. You can click this top bullet, and then we'll go look at, they have multiple different customer contracts. We'll pick, let's see what Bar Louie's got. Bar Louie has only one contract. You can have multiple contracts, and you can have a schedule. You can see that this schedule occurs every 4 weeks on Wednesday. So when we start our planning for today, it's Monday. We're not going to see this guy, but this will just give you an example. So he has this service called container collection, and of course you can go pick up things like grease, and it also lists the vehicles. This is important for cross-referencing. The guy that has to put all this together needs to cross-reference his vehicles with his services, with his customer contracts. So that used to be a big trouble until we have this Generate Routes button. Sorry, let me show you where I was. I clicked this Generate Routes area. So after we start generating these routes, then we're going to go actually schedule them, and then the trucks are going to go do their appointments. So back here on the route appointment screen, you can see there's a whole bunch of routes, and they're scheduled at various and sundry times. We're going to go narrow it down. Normally what they would do is they would say, well, let's go just pick one, or we'll just run it once for the entire day. Instead, we're going to get a little more specific. We're going to go to Springfield, and nothing's going to come up, so we're going to expand our day and do a little maybe advanced planning for Springfield. So you can see Springfield's getting ready to roll on Tuesday, so we're going to do things a little bit in advance here and hit Process All. Now, once I've got my thing actually planned, I can go schedule it. So we're going to go to the route that we just planned. And first thing we might want to do is we might want to take a look and see what this route actually looks like. So I clicked Open Route on Map. So this is kind of a cool little feature where you can see what the driver's day is going to look like. So he's going to be out taking off from this red dot, which is the home office, and he's going to go out and hit all these different places that you see lined up there. If I wanted to, I could actually even go back a couple days, maybe see what happened on Friday. Friday, you can see we sent a couple other trucks out doing various and other routes. And it's also very nice because if you see outliers and you want to change appointments, I can go make buttons appear and disappear, etc. So anyway, back to our route planning. So now let's go actually assign a driver. We'll pick the first guy here. And you can assign a backup driver and other things. Save that, and now we're actually ready to get going. When it's time to get going, what we do is the driver's out in the field, and now he's done his pumping and other things, and he goes to pull in his appointment. Looks like he's going to, this one's going to a KFC, and he can start his appointment, go out, empty the deep fryers, do everything he's got to do, complete the appointment. Now, obviously, we all want to see this on a mobile device. That's coming. I can't show you that to you right now. After that's all done, it comes back to the accounting. So notice there's a lot of different people. There's dispatchers, drivers, accounting folks. They're all collaborating on an online single system here. The accounting system can then go in, and it can open up a specific appointment. We'll just pick one here. And it can add in the different containers and other things that need to, the other amount of grease and other things that were collected. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about real quickly, notice this transaction amount. One of the cool things with Windsor in this collection process is that sometimes they pay for the materials they're getting, and sometimes they actually receive money in order to, come and do the service. In this case, they're paying. So when the accounting goes ahead and processes that file and does their invoicing here, instead of generating an account receivable, that particular instance was going to go in and it was going to do a payable. So let's go over to the bills and adjustments screen and take a look at one of those and what it might look like. So in an end-to-end service, once again, that gets you all the way through the manufacturing side. I'm not going to show you that. But from an end-to-end service, that's what happens with GA Windsor & Son, where it's very much simplified what they've done. So a big hand for the folks at M5 for putting that together for us. Now, just one last note. If I was sitting in the audience right now and I was a customer, I'd say any friends that I have that go around and pick up trash, I better give these guys a call. If I was a partner sitting in the audience, I'd start thinking about calling Waste Collection San Diego and Googling it and start calling these people, because it's a very localized, medium-sized business that I think a lot of you will find success in. Thank you.
There we go. All right, Doug. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Awesome job. Always get great feedback on when we do real customer demos out there. I've had a bunch of you come up to me and say, wow, I can't believe you guys didn't just do some demoware. And you know, we've got real customers running this stuff, and it's up in the cloud, so we better be able to demo it, right? So, so that's M5, and we showed what we were doing with Jazz up in the Montreal labs, and we showed what we're doing with M5 up in the Montreal labs. But I got one more really kind of exciting announcement to make this morning, and it's related to M5. And that is, we liked the company so much, we bought the IP. So I'm announcing we signed a term sheet last week to acquire the IP for the M5 code base. And so what you can expect in the short term, you know, M5 today is on the Acumatica price list, and it will remain there, and you can continue to buy it like you do today. But we're going to bring it in, we're going to tune it and repackage it, and you can expect to, sometime later this year, we will be delivering a full-blown Acumatica Field Service Edition that will cover all of the things that Doug was showing, you know, route management, equipment management, field service capabilities. When we look at our customer base, about 31% of it is operating in professional services, and there's so many services that we think that we can go after with you guys with this product in our mix. And so, you know, it's the first foray of Acumatica really into a vertical, and we're really excited about it. So what do you guys think? All right, so we covered a lot this morning, and I really appreciate it. I can see you guys have all been, you know, paying deep attention, and it's a lot of material to cover. But let me just wrap up right now. You know, the growth was fantastic. I announced that. I announced the 2,000th customer. I announced the Montreal labs. We announced the acquisition of the M5 code base, plus a whole bunch more. We're putting all of this out in press releases. It'll all be up on the partner portal as well, so you don't all need to memorize this. We'll, of course, be putting it together into some slides so people can go and talk to their customers about it, etc. So I just want to leave you with, you know, this summit is a really exciting one for us. I think you guys can get it. I love this. I'm having a great time. And 5.3, we've got the right product. I'm going to talk more tomorrow about that ERP trajectory and about how it's going to take off. But I think it's the right time, and I think we've got the right company and the right community to go after this together. So thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.
John Roscoe, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on up, Fred. All right.